If you have your Bibles with you, kindly open with me. Okay. On the book of Psalms, chapter 143, verses 5 to 6. Psalms 143 verses 5 to 6 says, I remember the days of long ago. I meditate on all your works and consider what your hands have done. I spread out my hands to you. My soul thirsts for you like a parched land. This is the word of the Lord. Well, to start with, I would like to say congratulations to all of us, whether your candidates have lost or have won. Congratulations still, because we have exercised our rights of suffrage. Right? For you out there, I hope that you have also did your part in electing and in choosing your candidate. Okay? Good morning, Kay Tito Jasper and Mother Ruthie. Hi, Mother Ruth. Good morning. I will not ask if your candidate has won or lost. You know,
some have won.
Some have won. Okay, some have won. For you out there on social media and Facebook, feel free to join us. Feel free to share your comments and your reactions and questions because we can see it. Okay? Rafaela Hupanda, Cartagena. Good morning. Press, hindi ko nakakadto si Maymay. Hindi siya kakadto. Kami bisita. Siya ko na nag-abot last minute. Okay. So anyway, aside from some have won, some who won are not expected. Right? So if you would look at the Facebook, you would just laugh on the comments and everything that is in there. But if I may ask, is the election or was the result of the election the be all and end all of our lives? How about you there? Is the result of the election the be all and end all of our lives? If you would look at the social media as if it's the one and only thing that goes on in our lives. Right? As if it's the end of the world because their candidates have lost. Right?
They will die.
Yeah.
For their lost candidates.
Yeah, correct. They will die for the loss of their candidates. And somehow this is also the beauty of Facebook because it provides all of us an avenue to rant. Right? It provides us an avenue to run because this is one way that we could also lessen or exercise our mental health.
Yes.
Right? Because kung wala kita pala utwasan, base mag-isip kita posting. No?
It is one way of ventilating.
Correct. Correct. It's one way of ventilating our frustrations in life. Hello, Zarmin. Good morning. Okay? But in our ranting on social media, how do we rant? Or how do we vent out our emotions there in our feelings? Are we venting it out as if the next minute we will die? Or are we venting it out as if we are the most intelligent person created?
Ako na once of written.
Ako, I've tried to somehow pitch in every now and then, but I would just throw questions to ponder and to ask, and sometimes also playing the devil's advocate in some discussions every now and then.
With the icons, emoji.
Yeah, emoji, correct. No. But how do we face all this?
Matubang sila sa akin. Nagtawag si Patos. Kumis ka mga pinungo si Patos.
Yes, it's very obvious.
Ako pa sa yung kinaano na ikaw na mga sila sa mga tao. Ito na, kung tayo lang ang simple na level sa inutos na sa daw akikisip lang ang istorya sa imo lahat. Kasi kung ang mabuligan na ni Patos pag lagay natin lady, pag magdaw sa lady, hindi na mag-brown kung wag mata. Hindi na yan ang sa ato na.
That is why I entitled our meditation today, What Drives Your Life? Are these politicians driving your life? Well, maybe we can say that in a way they have a part in driving our lives because our economy is on their hands. Is based on what they will be doing. But if you look at it on the bigger picture, there are hundreds of third world countries who are surviving even though their officials are corrupt. There are hundreds of countries who have survived even though they do not have international assistance. Diba? Immediately after the election, the stock market went down. The stock market went down. The international investors and the local investors pulled out.
But it is not only in the Philippines.
Yes, correct.
Market has
Gone down. Worldwide, correct. And so I asked this group of mine, I said, do we really need international investors to survive?
No.
There are a lot of countries who do not have international investors, but yet have survived.
Yes.
Right? But I said it is just maybe because we Filipinos are really focused on the colonial mentality, as we have said. We depend so much on others wherein we have so much in our hands. So in that way, I would somehow say our lives have been driven. What a grammar, sana. Okay, our lives have been driven by pleasing other people. Our lives have been driven by asking something from other people, and yet we have ignored our God-given potentials. We have ignored the skills that God has given us.
Or even our natural resources.
Yes, correct, Nanay.
That is why most countries would rather have taken the Philippines to them.
Correct. Good morning, babe. Right? Yeah, Philippines is a rich country, naturally speaking. But because of maybe the chosen few, then we are not able to really make the best of it. A few weeks ago, sometime last month, I saw sa YouTube this underground waterfalls or something, may bukal, right? The owner of the property just built a small hut. Yeah, a small hut to cover the area. But once you enter the hut, you have to go down, and it's fresh water. And they will not sell it.
Sa dito may restaurant?
Somewhere sa Luzon. Hindi, Visayas area.
Sayas to?
The Summer Visayas area. But the family will not sell it. Or the family won't sell it because to them that is something that brought good to their family and they will take care of it.
Hindi ako pagpapos na ng lubon. Isa na ako lubon, nagagdag ito ang bala sa
Sa loob.
Wala man. Naglusot lagi dito sa may buhok. Hindi na daw handa ng makatuto.
Kasi try to check.
Yeah, sa YouTube.
Ano dito si Ginoo?
Yung features ng Jessica Soho, no? Yeah. Sa KMGS. Yeah. It's a good one. So so we have a lot of resources. But because we are so focused on the negatives, we are so focused on our personal desires and plans that if things go wrong, we rattle. If things doesn't go along our plans, we lose track. Just like Peter, right? Peter was able to walk on the water, but when he started to look around him, when he saw the big waves around him, he started to sink. Right? He started to sink down. Why? Because Peter started to focus on the waves, but not on Jesus Christ. His focus was distracted. Thus, he started to sink. So have we also asked ourselves, why am I sinking? Yes.
Dito nga nga lugar na duha ka barangay ko karugo. Gani nga nagawa ano sa simbahan, prosang simbahan.
Barangay.
Barangay game?
Wala dito ka barangay.
Naglubog because of erosion?
Nagtubig na lang sila.
Okay. That one is...
Nakakilabot kung hanggang nila mo.
Yeah, that one is also because, if my memory serves me right, because of landslide. Natagunan na sila, and then the only part that you can see is the cross of the church.
Nagwa?
Tubig?
Tubig siya hindi na slide. Ay, barangay mo may chip.
Siguro fault line siguro.
Maybe.
No?
Ano kita ko yung one?
Tubig na no. Tubig na lang.
Really? Really? Sa Pilipinas?
Ang harap katedral, ang belfry nila sa Tubangan, tuk-tuk na sa una.
Tuk-tuk na sa una, yes.
Belfry na. Di, asapin ka, nawa ko lang kung sa idalo na siya.
Ang pagkapadukos ng Amanay, ang belfry was the last edifice because of earthquake.
Yes, that is why sila nag-usmod man.
Okay.
Tutuloy na nila, simbahan na sa idalo.
Dalong.
Oo, pero how many kilometers down there, wala ka kapalo na.
Yeah. The only thing I know is ang sunken cemetery. Ang sunken cemetery. But there's also one here sa Philippines na kung high tide, hindi ko siya makita. But for low tide, makita mo bilog na barangay. I also heard that one.
Pero
I forgot where.
Sa Honda Bay, sa Palawan.
Palawan.
Kaya na naglulit, tawag nila lulubog yun daw mga islets.
Islets.
Kaya nalubog sila kung high tide, lilit daw kung
low tide. Oh. Let's go around.
Yes.
Okay? So, the question there, my friends, is, are we learning from these experiences? Okay? Are we learning from these experiences? Are we listening to God in these experiences?
God talking.
Yes. It's God talking to us in all these experiences. But sad to say, we have been so focused on me and myself. We have been so focused on the past experiences that drives us crazy. Right? the past experiences that would drive us to count the poste of the electric wires, and the past that would drive us to count the cars passing on the street. Buot silingon, wala na. Wala na. Right? Mental hospital na. Right? As much as I want to speak in English, but you know guys, there are really a lot of things that are good being spoken in our native language. So, bahala kayo sa buhay. Di kami bakit nakatanong. Oo, si Zeppelin yung si Lisa, ganun ko. Si Zeppelin kanyo, si Lisa, syempre, taga-North, yeah. Yes. Okay. So, you know, anyhow, feel free to share your ideas, okay? Beso, wag kang manahimik dyan. Mag-share ka. Alright. So, today, my dear friends, I would like us to focus on a few things as to what drives our lives. Okay? Basing on what we have been hearing on social media, what do you think is one of the things that drives the Filipinos? What is one of the things that drives the Filipinos right now while thousands, millions are ranting over the winning Marcos? Anger. Right? Number one is anger. Resentment. They are angry because of the past. Right? They are angry because of the past, as if they are the only ones affected of the past, as if we are not also affected. All of us have been affected of the past. Right? All of us have suffered in one way or the other. Okay? All of us have suffered in one way or the other. All of us have been victims in one way or the other. Right? But would we allow ourselves to continue living the now and the future with these pains that the past has caused us? Of course not. All right. All right. Jesus Christ was also angry. Right? Jesus Christ was also angry because of how people treated the church. Right? That's why nag-wild si Jesus Christ. If I may say wild, right? He flipped all the tables, right? He got angry, but we can also say it once, right? But after that, he forgave, right?
And it was right for him to do that.
It was right for him to do that, correct. So resentments always hurt us. But the question is, would we allow the pains of the past to hold us down?
No.
Move on din pag may time.
Sana all.
Sana all, right? Move on din pag may time, right?
It's biblical to.
Yes.
Hindi mo pagpanulumon, pag-ibahatag sa bata, ang sala sa
Correct.
It's biblical.
It's biblical, correct. Right? Number 2, i-random ko ng ako ng reason sa para sa jata. Okay? What else? What else do you think why people are ranting? Hi Jeng, good morning. Kamusta ka mulan? Okay? What else? Why people rant? What drives our people, as we can somehow see on the internet? Fear.
Yeah, especially with the
Fear.
virus na...
Apat na. Last night, I heard sa 24 oras, 4 na in Manila.
Ang isa ay sa araw.
Wow! Todo naman ay?
I think that was 2 weeks ago, before the election. Maliit na ang harap ko sa araw, ang B1, ano gani? That B2.
That B2.
B2 ba?
Bahala sila da. Pero basta may variant na this haro.
Yes.
Tapos lang, mga taga-haro daw, may bayan ni COVID ako na, may bayan ako na daw. Okay. So fear. The fear that would result to what is to come. Right? Many of these people miss out great opportunities because they are afraid to take the risk. Why are they afraid to take the risk? Because of, again, the past experiences. They are tied up of the past experiences. Cannot move on. Correct. Putting modesty aside, I hope maybe you're listening. If I was afraid when the first marriage was canceled, if I was afraid to fall in love again, then I could have not opened my heart again. Right? Kaya Ivan, okay lang yan. Basa ka sa Facebook mo, Noy. Akala mo, ha? Diba? Updated si Kalbo. A silent stalker. Right? A silent stalker. Hindi na talaga. Galing hindi kami friends sa Facebook so hindi ko pa siya ma-stalk every now and then. Okay? Yeah, I would always stalk some of my kids. So we are afraid of what the future may hold because of the past. Thus, we are missing out the best in life. So, again, the bottom line, move on din pag may time. Right? The next one is, manay hanggang kita sang nose ko subungay. Guilt. We are guilty of something. We are guilty of what we have been doing still in the past. No? We have been guilty of what we have been doing still in the past. Notice, the first three are all about the past. Right? Because we are guilty that we have been doing a lot of stupidity in the past. Ay, papaal. Okay? So these people would allow their past to control their present in the future. That is why, again, I'm very sorry po ha, trabaho lang po, walang personalan. Just for the sake of meditation, we have been so hooked up and tied up with past tense. Hindi na ako magkampay ka para sa loob. Kasi ka na po yun naging kita. Past tense. That we forget that we have the present tense and the future tense.
Yeah.
Okay?
Pero there are many things positive
of the past. Correct. Correct. There are a lot of it. Now, there are a lot of things. As well, although, speaking of martial law, there are a lot of things, good things that resulted out of martial law.
Yes.
As well as there are also a lot of good things that resulted from the pandemic.
Yes.
Diba? No? That is if we are able to look at it on the bright side of life. But again, as one of my foster sisters who sent me a PM, she said, hindi kita aawayin. But as we go along, she would nadulat na ako sa ihambal ko. Okay. Many who have been victimized of martial law, many cannot just move on. But there are also many who were able to say, who are saying, I was also a victim. My blah 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 was also killed, blah blah blah. But I will still vote. For the pandemic, many people would say my loved one was misdiagnosed to have COVID. But life has to go on. 31 million naka-move on na kuya. 14 million hindi pa, naiwan pa sila sa past. Yeah. Kadako, yes. Tama kapatid. Right? It's a big one.
Isang OFW na.
Yeah. OFW in Asia. Although some OFWs, I think in Europe, they said Lenny won. But in majority of the OFWs, you know. So, yes. Need to play ko. Alright? Yes, correct. And we cannot just say that this is... But anyway, change topic. Baka saan tayo magpunta mamaya. Okay? As much as possible, I would like to deviate on the hotness of the issue.
The past and the present.
The past and the present, correct. But let us look at it on a different perspective on what the Bible is giving us the example. You know? So, with this, we cannot say that we would forever be tied up or chained with our guilt because of the past. The last thing that I wrote here about the past is materialism. Okay? Materialism. Remember that these materials that we have right now in our hands, sooner or later, they will be gone. Right? Sooner or later, they will be out of coverage.
Yes.
Okay? Because we came into this world with nothing, and we will go out of this world with nothing. Right? New tayong pumasok sa mundo, and new din tayong aalis ng mundo.
Although nakagana iba.
Nakagana iba. I would say, paano kaging bata ko nakagown? Right? That's correct. I remember my sister, si April, when she showed me her dress. I said, knowing her personality, and so I said, Pangga, why that dress?
Daddy!
It's so not you. You know what she answered me? It's okay, no worry. Because anyway, I will be cremated. so the dress doesn't matter. And so I laughed. You know? And correct. No? That's why mapatay ka mo, no? Kung mamatay ka mo, wag na kayo bumili ng gown. Okay? Just have your duster, it's okay.
Otherwise, I would like to present myself to God. Nga matahugi ko yan.
Oh yeah. But, mana, if you want to present yourself to God as a beautiful creature, I think your dress inside your coffin will not be brought to heaven. Right? So if we want to present ourselves the best, then we should do it while we are living.
And first time ko din nga nakasaksi, di ba mugdo ako mo ikitiyay. Ang balugin sa ako na prese, blessing. Pray ako.
Wow, the first time na kamuyo ka?
Oo, kagambal sa nang tawag ko ng pastor. Hindi ko kabalang ko silang pastor. Kaya dito sa may sa may mission. Pwede nyo dito yan sa signal. Kasi kami talo, hindi siya bala. Pwede signal, magwag pa yun dito.
Sa mission, gili ka mo.
Oo, hindi ko siya dito pabayaan mo. Tapos, last na ito na 9:56, nagambal sa blessing. Blessing, ano. Pero sabi sa akin, hindi ko kalugdo ko ang mga verses yung basa ko niya. Pero nga ako, hindi ko sa iya. Yung basa ko sa Bible, pasalamat. Man, okay, thank you. Ang free ko sa iya.
Nandito lang naman ganyan. Pasalamat.
Hindi ko kabalo ko ano, nalipat dito yan.
It was not you reading then.
Magbukas ko ako na yan. Amo na itong basa ko. Tapos, nag-pray ko, kaya na pasalamat na kasi hindi ko sa sabat-sabat. Ano to? Tapos ikaw naman, sila niya, thank you, Lord.
Ang wala natin kilo.
Tapos, sila ko, kung kisa ko siya, lang, imakuha ko. At least, hindi ko wali-wali kayo makakigda ako. Ang ako
siya.
Kasi po niya, kasi mo, pwede kang baglakan ka.
Kasi ang goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we want to present the best, if we want to present ourselves as the best, let's do it while we are still living. Because when we die, no more. The end na siya. It's not the best anymore. The end na yan.
Ang bala pastor, hindi yan tinanggal ng kwarta. Wala siya baktis.
Yeah.
Hindi yan ang tinanggal ng kwarta.
No? So material things would pass. But what will last, but things that was done for Christ will last. Okay? So meaning to say, my dear friends, the first three things is about the past. Right? Anger or resentment or hatred, our fear, our guilt are all about the past. And materialism, which is also of the present, are useless. We cannot use them. So, what do we need to do? Okay? I also have 4 suggestions on how our lives will be driven. Number 1, life is meaningful. Right? We should check, or we should know that our life has meaning. Right? What is the meaning of our lives? Life is meaningful with God. Without God, life has no purpose. Tama? Without purpose, life has no meaning. Without meaning, life has no significance. If I would say, what is the greatest tragedy in life? What is the greatest tragedy in life? So, if lain-lain man, if iba-iba ang tragedy in every person, then that is not the greatest tragedy.
The greatest is for all.
The greatest, correct. So, the greatest tragedy, I don't know if you would agree with me, is living without a purpose. Because if we are living without a purpose, it is just living, we are just a living dead. Diba? We are just like living dead. We are living, but we are worse than a mentally ill person. Right? Because ang buang knows where to go. Ang buang has a direction of where to go. Right? Ang buang knows what he is talking about. Right? Because he has a clear picture of what is going on in his mind. So he is mumbling that certain situation. But if you have no purpose in life, then you do not know what you are talking about. Right? So learn the meaning. Number 2, live a simple life. Live a simple life. It defines what you do and what you don't do. Your purpose becomes the standard you use to evaluate which activities are essential or not. Last Sunday we mentioned about, is it a need or a want? Right? Is it last Sunday? Or is it on the sa lapas ko nga, sa lapos ko nga sermon? But before, in the Mother's Day, right? During the Mother's Sunday, we mentioned, is it a need or a want? Right? So if it is a need, then basically the end product is simple. Because we need it, so we should have it. But if it is a want, it makes our lives more complicated. Right? Because, humanly speaking, people are full of wants.
Yes.
Right? We never run out of wants. I want this, I want that. I want those. I want you. I hate you. Alright? You are the flavor of the month. The next time is just a month. So I go goodbye. Alright? So, live a simple life. Live within our means. Learn to be contented with what you have. Spend according to your means. That is why, if you don't want to get sick, okay, if you don't want to get sick, don't overspend. Right? If you don't want to get sick, don't overspend and don't spend beyond your means. Don't desire to spend beyond your means because you will never achieve it. If you want to live longer, then smile and say thank you because I still have 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And number 3, we should learn to focus. Concentrate. Focus, concentrate our efforts on things that is important to us. What is our priority? Is our priority buying this or making do of this? Is our priority going to the street
Protest.
to protest? Ito naman si protest. Ito naman si protest. Peace po tayo mga kapatid. Right? Right? Or, instead of going out there, why should we just clean our houses? Right? Do our laundry. Correct. Instead of focusing on instead of focusing on other people's debts, right? Focus on your own debt. Ay, my goodness. Di ba? That's correct. Hindi ka pakita sa pulot ang mo. Right? Correct. That's why hindi ko na pinapansin ang text ng home credit. Ayoko nang umutang. Ay. Okay. Okay. No? So,
speaking of home credit, kasi yung tangkapasaan ko na kay balik na sila sa work at home na sa call center. Kaso lang, why kami nga gadget? Kay karon ang bata ko nga laki, si Brian, nagtulo call center.
Maganda ang sweldo sa call center.
Ang mula ganin nga nakapatindog sa iya sa iya balay, pinakakuha sa karutit. Karon, sa maganda, medyo nag-close bala ang kumpanya. Kaya wala sa sing gadget, nag-work at home ang mga upod. Siya wala gadget, kaya ilay puta. Pag-yan sa ilang kumpanya, ginutahan na sila kada isa-isa. Kaya karon masel kay mo sing gamay lang, hindi ka mapapildo mo. Ang mga ganin ang ginawa, ano ko pala ang kapag sa nasda, anti sa balakas
ang needs, correct. Right? Correct. No? So meaning to say, our focus right now, my dear brethren, okay, is not so much on other things. My goodness. Okay? Okay? Kasi tatay pa mga animal. Okay? No? So, before we focus on some people, before we focus on others, before we focus on materialism, let's sit down and ask ourselves, what is my priority?
Let si Joyo mag-ask niya for whatever. Magkabang siya ni mama niya. Need na siya kung want. Hindi niya want. Magkakapit ka.
That's nice. O, diba?
Ako nung siya, ito na si Baran. Sila niya, makakinagyan ko cellphone. Kaya di ako naliliyente. Di ko di ano, wala ka kang makina mo or cellphone. Yung mga cellphone.
Para makonect siya.
Sino sobra-sobra to lang, ha? Kapag-lapot dito sa isang tama, tapos 16,000.
Ay, no!
Sure ba ako?
Siyempre yan. Siyempre mga picture-picture. Siyempre yan. Ano yung kasi di ba? Kasi kung hindi ako babayad. Ano?
Yeah, di!
Babayad din, no? Hindi na, ano sila nagla siya na mga make-up pag ginamtan nila sa magazine. Nagla sa buwan. Hindi ka ron. Si Kuti, pinakabot na. Ay, mo sa panay mo. Ay, Diyos ko. Ikaw kay Juan, kay Pedro, kay Juan.
Yeah, precisely. Because we are not focused. Right? We are not focused. Sometimes we also justify our misfocused. Right? We justify things. So, in the long run, we are defocused. Right? Lastly, and we will close with this one. Medyo natarana na tayo. Okay? Sadya, no? Hindi lang boring. Okay? Nakita ko to, alas 10 na pala. Pasado na alas 10. Okay? Mainit pa, okay? Mainit pa, pasado na po alas 10. Nag-i-enjoy po kami dito. I hope you're also enjoying. Okay? The last thing is motivates. What motivates us? What motivates you? The things that motivates us gives us self-worth. Right? The things that gives us self-worth also gives us high morale and self-esteem. Right? So if you are not motivated, then you would forever be sitting down there. I am so wrong grammar today. Right? So what motivates you? Are you motivated to destroy other people? Are you motivated to promote yourself in the way that you would step on other people? Well, that is the motivation of some people, right? Or are you really motivated to help? To do something good? And sometimes, I'm very sure you would agree with me, that sometimes even though our motivation is good, our purposes is good, but why is it that we are always overshadowed by those people who have wrong motives? I don't know. Right? Correct. All we can say, Manay, is, hay nako, bimantood. Right? But, would that be an excuse to stop? No. Right?
For sure, God has a purpose why things like that happen.
Correct. So the more we are trampled, the more we are criticized, the more we should be motivated
And we will strive.
to strive more. Correct. Just like Jesus Christ. Right? Jesus Christ did not, or never, if I may say, never focused his attention and really have given so much time on people who criticized him. Right? If Jesus Christ was focused and gave all attention to the people who criticized him, I'm very sure ma-high blood si Jesus Christ. Hindi siya nakaabot sa cross. Right? Correct. Diba? I'm very sure his disciples would always end up in fist fight or batuhan. Right? But Jesus Christ showed us humility. Jesus Christ showed us that He is motivated. That His motivation is to fulfill what was commanded of Him. Right? The love of the Father was His motivation to move on in life. And this I will close, my dear brethren. What motivates you? What drives your life? Is it guilt, resentment, or hatred, or anger? Is it fear? Is it materialism? Or is it a simple, meaningful, and well-focused life? Entirety, correct. I hope that our exciting and fun sharing today, as much as I would like to talk more about it, but our time is running out. Kung may electric fan lang, pwede kita maka-extend until 11 o'clock, but it's really very hot. So we are motivated to end. Okay? So I hope, my dear friends, that instead of spreading hatred, instead of spreading the negatives on social media, let's be motivated to ask ourselves, why am I existing? And what does God wants us to do? Amen. And thank you very much po sa inyo. Please don't be shy to share your comments or your feedbacks sa ating comment section po. God bless us all and thank you for joining us. See you next Sunday.